Commentators worry that political clashes could turn deadly. All persons implicated in massive gun find walk free. One man fatally shot during shootout between the police and gunmen in Clarendon, while the suspect in the cop's murder has been shot to death. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. Amid the intense verbal clashes between Jamaica's two major political parties, the governing Jamaica Labour Party and the opposition People's National Party, public commentators fear that there could be serious negative consequences. Political commentator Lloyd B. Simmet says while verbal sparring is not foreign to local politics, social media has significantly heightened the impact. He said in light of this, he argues that there must be a regulator in place to intervene when necessary. Simmet said the political ombudsman needs to be revisited ASAP and there has to be some sort of way in which both parties can establish rules of engagement. Because if the current trend continues, he worries that the verbal clashes may eventually end up into physical clashes because there are those party hacks who take their party so seriously that they will go to any length to defend it, and this could lead to political violence, he contended. Meanwhile, social commentator Kenyatta Powell believes that the back and forth adds no value to local politics. He said he does not expect an improvement in the behavior of either party. And this does not sound good at all. We cannot go back to the politics of the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s when shower and power reigned chaos on the land. There were guns back then, but this time it is 100 times more. Half the population of Jamaica could be wiped out if there is a political violence clash revisited for the 70s and the 80s. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz said an investigation has been launched into Sunday night's fire at the Jamaica Urban Transit Company's JUTC depot in Spanish Town in St. Catherine. One employee was injured by the flames, which destroyed one of the buses parked at the facility. Mr. Vaz said when the investigation is completed, he will also outline a plan to implement better security measures in relation to certain activities that are plaguing the JUTC, and they are suspicious that the fire was as a result of arson. Meanwhile, one of two men who was shot and killed on Thursday night in Rose Heights in St. James during an alleged altercation with security personnel was a prominent member of a gang in the parish. The men's identities were not disclosed, and during the operation, two illicit firearms were found. A police military team was called to Sean Crescent in Rose Heights at approximately 9:40 p.m. according to Deputy Superintendent Linford Edwards, after a group of men were observed congregated in one area of the neighborhood. He said when the men saw the military police, they started shooting. The individuals proceeded to challenge the police, firing from rooftops, trees, and nearby properties. The senior officer said they replied and returned fire, and several suspects have now been detained. And as the police continued to clean up Jamaica, one man was fatally shot during a reported confrontation between the police and gunmen in Clarendon yesterday afternoon. The gun battle, which occurred sometime after 2 o'clock along Manchester Avenue, forced pedestrians and motorists to take evasive action. Several businesses were also forced to close their doors due to the shootout. A fourth defendant who was charged in connection with the March 2022 massive gun and ammunition find at Queen's Warehouse on Industrial Terrace in Kingston were released on Monday. Jermaine Baker, a 36-year-old chef from Sunrise, Fort Lauderdale, was freed before the gun court. And last Friday, 3 other defendants in the case, Godfrey Martin, otherwise called Rev, Shirley McLean, and Fitzroy Johnson, were released following no case submissions by their attorneys. A fifth defendant, 42-year-old Dervan Brown from Bronx in New York, was killed while out on bail. The 5 men were charged following an investigation into the seizure of 21 illegal guns and 2,216 rounds of ammunition in a shipment of goods at the Queen's Warehouse. 3 high-powered M15 rifles and 18 handguns were among the weapons seized in addition to 51 magazines. The police high command had reported that one of the magazines seized could hold 100 rounds of ammunition, and the shipment was destined for Moko in Clarendon. The main suspect in the murder of Police Constable Maria Thomas in Breezy Hill in Manchester last week was fatally shot during a confrontation with the police in Buttup near Alligator Pond on Monday morning, and he has been identified as 33-year-old Kerry Douglas, otherwise called Stickman. The police said one 9mm firearm with 5 rounds was recovered during that operation, and it's reported that residents heard explosions sometime after 3 in the area known as Lane. They went out to investigate and saw police and soldiers. The residents, as usual, have disputed the report that a gun was taken from Mr. Douglas. And as you can remember, the police constable who was on suspension for several unlawful issues including the slaying of a man and robbery was shot to death last week after a man dressed in a hoodie showed up at a bar he was in. 3 attempts were already made on his life, and as soon as he saw the man with the hoodie, he ran from the bar. The man chased him and fired several shots at him, and his body was found the next day. The man in the hoodie is said to be Mr. Douglas, who the police have just sent to a very hot or a very cold place. On to sports, Mexico edged Jamaica 1-0 on Sunday. The Mexicans continued their 7-year unbeaten run over Jamaica as a 69th-minute strike from Gerardo Artiga gave them the victory. And luck wasn't on the side of the Reggae Boys at all, as a spectacular header from Mikel Antonio, which hit the back of the Mexican goal, was ruled offside. The Jamaicans struggled to create clear-cut chances throughout the contest with just 4 shots on target, while goalkeeper Jamel Waite was kept busy with 8 saves. Waite was spectacular in goal. The Mexicans attacked through the entire game, and it looks like they were on speed rapid. Jamaica at times shows signs of brilliance, but finishing was an issue. And I also have an issue: why was Damian Lowe not in the starting 11, and why did the coach take out Damari Gray? Second, why is Kaheem Dixon not a starter? Right now, I think he's the best striker Jamaica have right now. He's very busy on the field when he's out there. But such is luck. We have to look forward to the second game. And in T20 World Cup cricket, South Africa are through to the T20 World Cup semi-finals after a tense 3-wicket win on the Duckworth-Lewis Stern method over co-host West Indies in a winner-takes-all Super 8 match. Chasing a DLS revised target of 123, South African wobbled at times but ultimately withstood the pressure of Marco Jansen, thumped a 6 to steal the win with 5 balls to spare. And having restricted the West Indies to 135 for 8, the South Africans appeared in control, but Andre Russell struck twice in the second over of the chase to leave them at 15 for 2. The West Indies momentum was halted immediately though by a sudden downpour that kept the players off the field for 75 minutes. Sorry folks, but this Duckworth-Lewis method makes absolutely no sense to me at all. The West Indies made 135 for 8 wickets, and the next side made 124 for 7. And team that made 124 for 7, they're the ones who won the match. Tell me now how that makes sense, because it makes absolutely none to me, no matter how them turn it around and I look at it. Anyway, don't forget that the best news and sports takes place on this station. If you've missed the news, please go to YouTube, type in Jamerican Undiluted News, listen, like, share, and subscribe to keep us going. That's news and sports on your favorite radio. My name is Mikey Bones. I gone.